time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits, whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts. This is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. As you can tell, I'm by myself. It's Wednesday when you guys are listening to this anyway. It's actually Tuesday morning for me, but Wednesday morning as this hits the air. So it is just me today. No Bill Barnes on the weekly Wednesday weigh-in. It looks like he has at least taken a sabbatical from us. It may or may not return. We don't know, but the show goes on. And here we are. You guys are stuck with me for now. As I mentioned in prior episodes, for at least the next few weeks, the plan, the schedule will be to continue to have the Rio Hondo Prep football show on Monday, recapping a game from the previous week and looking forward to the next game, talking to coaches and players and things of that nature. So fans have got some great fan interaction already from that. So love seeing that, love hearing from fans tuning in and just great feedback. It's been a lot of fun doing that. Something I've passionate about. I always kind of wanted to do a sports thing with a team when I was going through college and after college. And so this is fun for me just to promote the alma mater and promote the program. So we're going to keep doing that. Go Rio. Wednesdays for now, for the next few weeks, it'll be a show like this. It'll just be me with some random thoughts as well as some predictions for the weekend, college football, NFL, maybe some boxing news, whatever. Baseball playoffs are here. So I'm going to react to that stuff and give some predictions. And basically, guys, if you go the opposite of what my predictions are, you're going to be just fine, because my predictions definitely are not Nostradamus worthy or anything, Barnstradamus either. I definitely have not been solid on my picks, but I'm trying to get better. So we'll see what happens. So that's the plan for Wednesdays, at least for now. I like doing a three show format. Again, it's an opportunity for me to just kind of express what's going on in my crazy head, what's going on in my world. And when I started the show, I just wanted this to kind of be about some of my opinions on things, some of my interactions as an Uber driver, give you guys some stories and just my observations on life. For those that don't know me, I'm kind of introverted. Like I'm not that outgoing. So to do this podcast has been interesting for me. I'm kind of the guy, once you get to know, I'm more open and, you know, I think people at work could attest to that. And, I got no issue talking to people, but I'm not always the guy who initiates conversation and things. So podcast has been interesting because it's just me and a microphone or a guest, of course. But Friday, we have a great guest, Katrina Gazarian. You don't want to miss. She's a former basketball official. That's how I met her, but she has done great work in HR. She's very passionate about helping businesses out, especially in this recent year and a half or so where things have been a struggle. So we'll hear from her on Friday. Fun conversation. She has her own podcast and she just talks about kind of doing things that will help you be successful. And so even if you're not into business, if you're not in HR, I think you'll learn something from it. It was great catching up with her. So that's the plan for Friday. And honestly, after the football season ends, with Rio Hondo anyway, I might shorten this to 2 weeks, 2 days a week. I'm not saying I will, but without Bill Barnes, that just might be what is necessary. And, you know, FedEx is expecting a huge peak season again here. So after Thanksgiving, I mean, I'm 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, pretty much with FedEx, maybe not that bad, but we're doing, 60 hours a week or something like that. So I may not have as much time to do the podcast. I love doing it. I want to keep doing it, but those are just some public service announcements in regards to the upcoming shows, but not a whole lot will change other than that. Okay. I do want to bring back Studs with Studs and talk about some heroes and things. We'll eventually do that. It's easier. Football season is easier. There's more structure. I always loved football season, especially when I was refereeing, because it was Thursday afternoon JV game, Friday night a varsity game, Saturday college, Sunday NFL, oh, Monday another NFL. It was like, okay, you're only looking at 2 days off, really, Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday night NFL game as well. Don't forget about that. Great NFL game last night. Again, I'm recording Tuesday, Monday Night Football. That's another reason I kind of want to do this recap show on Wednesday so that I can react to Monday's Monday's game, and then let's go right into next week predicting games for Thursday. I'm going to give you 3 college predictions, and then we'll go through the NFL schedule as well. And I'm going to just kind of try to do quick hits today, so that, you know, I don't have you guys stuck here listening to me for an hour and a half or anything. You don't want that. Okay, but first, a few thoughts that I have. Again, I write these things down throughout my week, things that I want to talk about, maybe analogies or whatever. And you know, expectations, they're everything. They really are everything. I mean, job, when you go to start a new job, when you go on a first date, whatever it is, and for your teams especially, I think some people have these high expectations, unrealistic expectations that are almost, you know, you're playing with fire. You're going to be disappointed. I've always been more of a realist. I've always been like, well, I much prefer to be pleasantly surprised. It's not too often that my teams have done well, specifically the Rams, right? So when they are good, I get pretty fired up about it, because I've lived a life of them being awful. And when they do lose, like they got crushed last Sunday, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm used to this. I'm used to my team's losing. It's the easiest thing in the world for me. I've brushed it off. I don't know, battle scars here. I don't mean to bring in the war analogies, but expectations really are everything. You know, think about that what you expect from people. If you expect a lot from your friends and they kind of don't deliver, you're going to be disappointed. If you expect, you know, a first date to go really well, maybe you misread signs or something, signals, and you're just like, oh, well, I guess, you know, you're disappointed. But think about it. When you're pleasantly surprised, when you get a gift out of nowhere from somebody, or you get, you know, a promotion that you didn't see coming, when you're pleasant, and it's good to strive for these things, to have maybe some, you know, motivation. That's absolutely great to have ambition and things. But I think expectations really are everything. Sometimes we expect a lot more from our friends than we should. And based off of maybe experience with them, you know, you just, maybe you shouldn't. And for me, I'm incredibly blessed. I have a ton of great friends. There's a group of friends that I hear from often, and I love it. It comes out of nowhere randomly, right? And so I think communication is a two-way street. But having great expectations, high expectations of not just friendships, but that's just the example I'm using. You could be your team. Now you should expect to be great too. Like no coach wants to, we're probably going to lose this game, right? Every coach who goes into a game, they know, they feel deep down they're going to win. Why else play the game? Why else prepare for it? So I just think expectations emotionally are something that I've learned to deal with over the years. For example, being a referee, going out there, my expectations are no matter how good I do, I'm gonna get yelled at. Someone's gonna be mad, and if I mess something up, someone's going to be mad. So that's kind of how I had to go into games. I had to learn to brush things off a little bit more, not let my emotions get the best of me. But anyway, expectations are everything. All right. We're 4 weeks into the NFL season. Most teams came in, you know, high expectations, right? Everyone, oh, we make the playoffs this year. And then after a few weeks, it's like, oh, well, maybe let's just try to finish 500 this year. Oh, okay. Well, hey, let's just try to maybe get a top 10 draft pick. I don't know. Your expectations change too as you go through life. So that was just something I popped into my head the other day. I watched the Sopranos movie over the weekend with Valerie, The Many Saints of Newark. It was good, but I think that's why I came to this expectations concept is anytime there's this movie, the Breaking Bad movie, right? That came out and everyone's like, oh, I can't wait. And then 2 hours is done. And you're like, oh, that was it. So I've seen that a few times with movies, and I liked the Sopranos movie. It was good, but I think my expectations got the best of me. I was so fired up for it. Think about how many times you've been fired up for a big game. Oh, it's going to be a great game. This game's going to be amazing. And then it's a blowout. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, I got fired up for nothing, but that's the beauty of sports too. So the Sopranos movie, I was wondering where did I get this expectations idea? But that was it. I was like, you know what? Sometimes we expect too much and we get let down. And then there's other times we don't expect a whole lot and we're pleasantly surprised. So I don't know which one you want to do. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. I have some issues here with some dog lovers. We've moved into a new place here, and there's dogs. I like dogs. They're great. They're great creatures. Our former roommates had a dog. He was great. It softened me up for sure. But I got to tell you, around the neighborhood here, it's like some owners don't. They block out when their dogs bark. They just leave them outside or let them scream at people as they walk by. And I think most owners don't know that somebody's there, that when they're not there, that their dogs are barking and stuff. But some people are just oblivious. I don't know if people do this with their kids too. They're just like, oh yeah, he's doing his thing. I mean, that's how he is. But the lack of control on dogs is like, what is going on here? Come on, guys. I mean, I can't say I've ever been a dog parent, so maybe I don't know how it is, but that's something we got to get on a leash here. No pun intended. Let's come on. Let's treating dogs like humans. That's a whole nother thing. I'm going to save that so I don't offend anybody. That's a whole nother show. Anyway, random thoughts here, right, guys? As I mentioned to you. And then one more rideshare people. As an Uber driver, I find it funny. It's like an IQ test when someone gets in my back seat. It's you either pass it or you fail it, and it's someone who gets in the back seat, and they always sit in kind of the rear right passenger seat, and so that seatbelt occasionally gets kind of pushed down between the seat, and it's hilarious when people get in. Half the people, at least, they get in and they struggle finding the seatbelt when they go to click it. They put it in the wrong one, and it's like then they do find the right one and they push down, but they push the seatbelt down as well, so it goes into the seat, and it's like, I know you can do this. Grab the seatbelt so that it doesn't go down when you push and click it. Some people get it real quick right away, and other people, it's like some algebra equation. And I just chuckle. I'm like, I got to find a way to secure it or something. But, problem solvers. Come on, people. It's not that difficult. I'm not doing it for my entertainment. It's just something that pops up. I'm like, what are you doing? Come on, guys. It's a seatbelt. Like, we've all struggled with seatbelts. Don't get me wrong. I've done it. I mean, Jurassic Park, that famous movie, right? The helicopter scene where he finally just ties it together. So that's anyway, that comes up. Random stuff, guys. I know when I'm in my car all day, here's the deal. I wake up in the morning, sling some coffee, and I try to get out the door. I try to drive 4 or 5 hours of Uber, take a break, and then go to my real job. So that's kind of why I occasionally sound ridiculous and just like I'm rambling and like, why are you talking about that Uber situation or whatever? That's just what happens. Okay, finally, before we get into some sports topics, something I asked you guys to do months ago was send me in your Mount Rushmore of your favorite teams, right? Or send me your walk-up song. What would be your walk-up song when you're coming up to bat? That was fun. We got some interaction from some people. And now that I know how to play music on and have you guys hear it on here without holding my phone to the speaker, I think it would be much smoother. But anyway, something else came up to me as I was watching some boxing last weekend. And, all fighters, boxers, they have nicknames, right? It could be anything. Manny Pac-Man, Pacquiao, or Anthony AJ Joshua. It could be something like that. Who's Deontay Wilder fights this weekend? The Bronze Bomber, I think is his name. So I got me thinking, what would your fighting nickname be? Send me your thoughts if you should so feel inclined. What would your boxing nickname be, and explain why? My initials are miles per hour, MPH. So I was trying to think of something, if again, off the top of my head here, Matt, so I don't know, steady speed, or I don't know, 15 miles an hour, Hursima, whatever. 15 is my favorite number. So those are my initials, MPH. I was trying to correlate that somehow. But what would your boxing nickname be? As you come out of the tunnel and are announced. And if you don't want to do one for you, give me one for a friend. Give me one for me. Don't mock me too hard, but if you do a little, then that's fine. We're having some fun here. It's all good. What would your boxing nickname be? Think it over and tell me why it would be. What would fire you up coming out of the tunnel and getting ready to throw down with your guy. Guys, it's finally here. October is here. And I've long said with my brother that October's, I think, the best month, hands down. I mean, football is in full swing. Quarter of the season is in, and then baseball playoffs are starting up. Basketball, hockey are around the corner, and then you throw in kind of a great upcoming boxing schedule that I absolutely love. You throw that in the mix. I mean, this is just an Octoberfest. This is a fest, sports fest like you wouldn't believe. And it's just kind of great when everything is going at the same time. Remember last year when things were postponed and baseball started late, and then there was football, NBA was going in the late summer. We had all the sports going in like the regular season or the or postseason, whatever. But it was the hockey playoffs were going on. Everything was going on in like August or September, I think. So our October got changed a little, but Octoberfest is here. NFL is in full swing. We kind of know who the pretenders are and the contenders are. And, baseball playoffs are here. So I'm going to make some baseball predictions for you guys after a few thoughts on boxing. Last weekend, Anthony Joshua lost to Olihan. I don't want to mess up his name. It's not Alexander, but it's Usyk. He went down and claimed all his belts. And, Anthony Joshua is a guy that's really big, really fit. My friend Fred Monteblanco, who I consider our boxing expert, boxing analyst for this show, he kind of said Anthony Joshua is just a bodybuilder. He's not a boxer. And, I don't know if I would say that to his face, but, most of us wouldn't. But Anthony Joshua, it just seemed like all this hype. And for him to be defeated twice now, once by Andy Ruiz, not in a knockout fashion a few years ago, and then to lose convincingly to Usyk this past weekend, I mean, convincingly 9-3, maybe 8-4. And that's maybe. Totally outboxed him, and Anthony Joshua just did not look very sharp in that. So that really changed the heavyweight showdown that I was hoping for in Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua, a fight that I wanted to see. I think Fury's the better boxer, but I still wanted to see that fight because of the whole. They're both from England, right? It would be sold out in Wembley Stadium or something, and just a huge event. And both of those guys would have made a lot of money. But now it's Alexander Usyk, I'm gonna mess his name up, is now the heavyweight champion. I remember there's multiple champions in boxing because there's these different commissions and different the 4 different belts, I think, which is kind of ridiculous. But I think not Joshua anymore. Usyk has 3 of the belts, and he will be fighting probably the winner of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, which is this weekend. Huge fight. I tell you guys every now and then, there's a few pay-per-view fights you should purchase if you're into this, and I think this is a good one. I think Fury will take down Wilder again. This is the 3rd time they fought. First time was a draw, even though most people thought Fury won that, despite Wilder knocking down Fury in late round. Fury knocked out Wilder in their second fight back in February of 2020. Wilder's corner actually threw in the towel because it was such a beatdown. So we're probably looking at something similar to this again. Wilder's a big puncher, so if he lands one, he could end a fight in one punch, of course. But I think Tyson Fury is far more skilled. And so that fight is this weekend. It's supposed to be this kind of 2 bookend weekends of Joshua winning and then Fury winning. And then, okay, here we go. This fight's going to happen. And now it's not, at least for now. But congrats to Alexander Usyk, heavyweight champion, going up hopefully against Tyson Fury. My prediction here after a victory this weekend. And then we'll have an undisputed heavyweight championship in a few months. One way or another, it'll happen. I can't see Wilder beating Fury, but I could be wrong. As you guys know, my predictions are often wrong. So excited about that. Pay-per-view this Saturday, Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder, their 3rd fight, the trilogy, if you will. And I think Fury's so fun to watch. He's entertaining. He's goofy. He's everything really for boxing. So I think it's great. And finally, Manny Pacquiao retiring. He's going to pursue being pursue presidency there in the Philippines, and just wish him nothing but the best. To do what he's done throughout his career is really amazing. That he has fought so long, so many division. It was 8 different division champions 8 different divisions. I could be wrong. Anyway, all the different weight classes he's fought at, just a consistent competitor, someone that has been great for the sport. And I think he's going to do great things in politics moving forward. Some people would say, well, after getting hit in the head those times, can you be a viable leader of a country? I don't know. He seems fine to me. And he's definitely a leader that I think a lot of people have looked to in the past, in being in politics before. I think Congress or something, but maybe it's not called Congress there, but Manny's a career behind him in boxing. Absolutely one of the classiest dudes to fight. Never his legacy, I think, will be that he never ducked anybody. He never did. Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, he was always ready for a fight. Started at such a young age, such a little dude, and then progressed and had a great boxing career. So Manny Pacquiao, congrats in retirement. Just a true class act, and someone that I think the boxing world will definitely miss, but I wish him nothing but the best in moving forward. Okay, it's October. It's baseball time, man. Let's get into that. One of the beauties of doing this podcast, man, I tell you, the evolution of this thing has been great with the microphones, with the Zoom, with the screen sharing, all these things that I should have known long ago, being able to pause this, take a sip, take a break, and continue right in. All this stuff that I wish I had known early on. And you just learn as you go, right? Many episodes of experience and messing things up. Anyway, here we are, October. It's baseball time, guys. The MLB is down to its final 10 teams, right? 6 division winners, 3 in each league, and 4 wild card teams, 2 from each league. So 10 teams in total. We have 2 one-game playoffs. I still don't understand why baseball does this. Look, if you play 162 games and you're tied with somebody, and it ends up needing a one-game playoff, I totally get that. But to have a one-game playoff in baseball, to me, is just so odd. I would like this. I like the double wild card teams, the 2 teams getting in, of course. I would like it that at least if they went to maybe a 3-game series, it doesn't have to be a 5. That might be a little too much, but I think a 3-game series, you do that all year. So why not have, hey, this is the wild card series, basically 2 out of 3. You could start it Monday, be done by Wednesday, and then start the playoffs with everyone else on Friday. So the division winners get their couple of days off and get to stay fresh and get at it here on the weekend. But I don't make the schedule. I wish I did at times, especially with my work schedule. But I don't like the 1-game wild card playoff, not for baseball. Other sports, I like it. I like March Madness, the 1-game playoff, right? NFL, of course, basketball, NBA, and hockey. I don't know. I guess it fits having a series, but I just wish that in baseball we didn't see this one game playoff. I think in baseball, the pitching and everything, I think in baseball you got to beat a good team twice at least, right? To advance, and you shouldn't lose 1 game and be out of the playoffs, unless, of course, like I said, I like the 1-game playoff when 2 teams are tied for that final spot, because what else can you do? But anyway, it is what it is. We have 2 great old school playoff matchups here in the wild card games. We have the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. How many times have they met in the postseason, right? And then not only that, it's just a 1-game playoff starting Tuesday, today. But I'm recording well before that game on Tuesday. And then the St. Louis Cardinals and the LA Dodgers. I mean, how many games have they played in the postseason together? So another very classic matchup. I like that in baseball, when you kind of see these matchups that have history to it. So the Dodgers host the Cardinals on Wednesday. Red Sox host the Yankees on Tuesday, and I'm going to make some predictions for those 2 games. And then I will talk about get my predictions for the remainder of the baseball series, baseball playoffs. And you know what? I don't really have a huge rooting interest. I'll watch the Dodgers, of course, but you guys know who I'm rooting for in the playoffs right here. My umpires, my MLB umpires. I have a few buddies out there working. I won't tell you who they are, but they're working in the playoffs, and I just am cheering for them, and hopefully they have a great postseason. MLB lost to a great postseason umpire to retirement. Jerry Davis stepped away from the game, so the person who has worked more postseason baseball games than any human ever, is calling it a career. And congrats to him. Worked his 5,000th career game the other day. And I know him and Joe West, who set the all-time game mark recently this season, he's going to retire as well. At least that's what they're saying. So congrats to those guys that have done just so much for the game of baseball and the craft of umpiring. But anyway, cheering for my guys out there in the black shirts and the black jackets, who have a difficult task here of umpiring some very intense baseball games the next few weeks. Anyway, let's get into the games themselves. I honestly didn't watch a ton of baseball this year. I really didn't. I didn't have time. I tried to tune in here and there during the summer, but we had a lot going on with moves, and I didn't get to any baseball games in person this year, which was really odd. So anyway, I don't know a whole lot about. I'll tell you right now, I don't know much about the things that I do watch, like football, which you guys can tell. But I will say that I'm not as invested as I have been in the past. I used to watch, baseball all the time, Wednesday night baseball, Sunday night baseball, and try to have a pulse of what's going on. Last year with the lockdown, it was kind of the only thing to do was to watch sports. So anyway, let me give you my predictions here. Yankees at Red Sox. You guys will hear this after this game has been played on Tuesday, but this is Tuesday morning, so I will throw it out there. Red Sox Yankees, another classic matchup. The Yankees kind of got in, I think, at the very end of the season. I don't know what to say, except I think the Yankees offense is so deadly. It's so explosive. It can just rack up runs at a premium real quick. And so I think the Yankees go in there in a 1-game playoff, and they ruin again the Red Sox and their postseason dreams. Those poor Bostonians are going to be disappointed after the Tampa Bay Bucks beat the New England Patriots this last weekend. Tom Brady comes back in. I think it's more disappointment for the city of Boston on Tuesday as the Yankees win the wild card game. Okay, to Los Angeles we go. Cardinals, Dodgers. Cardinals have upset the Dodgers a few times in recent years. We're not sure if Clayton Kershaw is going to be available for the postseason. Obviously, Trevor Bauer's not available. So the Dodgers are kind of, I don't know. They've won a ton of games. That's a crazy thing. They won a ton of games. The Giants just had a little better season. The Giants played out of their mind all year. I think the Cardinals are always poised for an upset of the Dodgers. Have eliminated the Dodgers many, many times over the years. But I'm going to go with the Dodgers here, the defending World Series champs. I think they got something to prove. Anything can happen in a 1-game playoff, which is kind of weird predicting these things. But I will say the Dodgers are victorious over the Cardinals. They survive and advance, which is what it's all about this time of year. Okay, to the American League playoffs, we have the Chicago White Sox against the Houston Astros. And I have the Yankees winning the wild card to advance to play the Tampa Bay Rays. So in looking at these matchups, I don't know much. I'm just throwing it out there. I know Tony La Russa manages the White Sox. I think he has a postseason managing advantage to Houston. Tony's getting up there, of course, and when analytics is kind of the big part of the game now. I don't know. I still think Tony La Russa has some playoff magic in him. I have the White Sox beating the Houston Astros and advancing to the ALCS. In the other ALDS, I'm going to stay with the Yankees. I think the Yankees stay hot. They advance. They beat Tampa Bay, probably 6 games. It's going to be a great series. And again, an AL East matchup there. Remember, Tampa Bay got hot last year, went all the way to the World Series, took the Dodgers 6 games. But I think there's a little Yankee magic going on right now. I don't know what else to say except, after they won 27 World Series, it seems like it's been forever since they won one, 09, I think. And so I think they're poised to make a run here. In beating Tampa Bay. That sets up the White Sox and the Yankees in the ALCS. And we saw those two teams play in Iowa at Field of Dreams. That was one of the only baseball games I watched all the way through this season. Really awesome to see 2 good teams. The first place White Sox against the mighty Yankees, as Kevin Costner said there. And the Yankees won on a walk-off, right, into the cornfield. And I think we're going to see more of that. I think the Yankees just get hot at the right time. Again, with those power hitting bats, I think they produce enough offense to take down the White Sox and advance to the World Series. That's what I got coming out of the AL. In the National League, we have the Atlanta Braves against the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, kind of an old vintage matchup here too. Remember the old Milwaukee Braves back in the day? Weren't they that for like 12 years or something in the 50s and 60s? Anyway, after, of course, they were the Boston Braves. So the old Milwaukee team against the real Milwaukee team, Braves and Brewers. A great matchup here. Past few seasons, I mean, Atlanta being so close last year in the world to being up 3-1 on the Dodgers. Years prior to that, Milwaukee competing with the Dodgers in playoff games. Just a good matchup here. I have to go with my friend Jeff Levering, who's the broadcaster for the Milwaukee Brewers. I think the Brew Crew, I think they advance and beat Atlanta, and the Braves postseason woes continue, especially after that collapse last year. Sorry, Barrett family. I love you guys. I know you guys are big Braves fans, but I got Milwaukee advancing in this one. That takes us to Dodgers Giants. Dodgers Giants in the playoffs. I've seen a ton of Dodgers Giants playoff games, regular season games, and I've never seen them play in the playoffs. I think this is awesome. One of the best rivalries in sports. A rivalry that traveled across an entire country, started in New York when they were both there, and then came out to California and the West Coast. A true hatred here, even though there are some Dodger fans who will then support a San Francisco organization. Yes, that is my shot at you, 49er LA fans. Make up your mind, would you? Be consistent. That's all I ask. Anyway, San Francisco Giants were one game better than the Dodgers this year. I think 108 games they won. I could be wrong. 107, 108, one of the two numbers there, but both teams over 100 games, and just beat the Dodgers by one game, right? All season. Oh, they'll catch the Giants. They'll catch the Giants. But San Francisco's played well, man. They've played really well. That said, I think there's still some LA magic in the air. Maybe I'm a little biased. I think the Dodgers take down the Giants in 7 games to advance to the NLCS against the Brewers. And in that game, that series there, I think LA advances as well. I don't feel comfortable picking LA because I've seen them struggle quite often in Dodger playoffs and postseason. They always seem to lose games they're supposed to win, right? And again, back to the expectations theme. But selfishly, I want to see a Yankees-Dodgers World Series at some point in my life. I want to see it, and I think this could be the year. It's been predicted many years before that, but that's what I got this year. The Dodgers beating the Giants, beating the Brewers to advance to the World Series. We finally get that Dodgers-Yankees World Series that we have wanted to for a long time. And unfortunately, my prediction, I love the Dodgers, but I don't love them. I like them. I tolerate them. I think the Dodgers come up short in the World Series to the New York Yankees. The Yankees haven't won since 2009. That is an eternity to Yankee standards. I'm not saying I want this to happen. This is just what I think will happen. I think the Dodgers lose in the World Series to the Yankees, just like old times, like so many times before when the Yankees have beaten the Dodgers, back in the Brooklyn days and so forth. Again, 2 wild card teams coming through the tough losers bracket, if you will, the wild card bracket to advance to the World Series. And I think that's what we're going to see here in October. I could be dead wrong. I probably am dead wrong, as you guys know, but that's just what I think is going to happen. I'm throwing it out there. So we shall see when the first pitch is thrown Tuesday afternoon to get the playoffs rolling. And hopefully it's an exciting postseason here throughout the month of October. Okay, to football we go. The gridiron, the fall season is upon us, right? Even though October is here, baseball playoffs and everything, we're still in football season. That's what makes the world go round. And I want to give you guys just 3 college games that I'm going to predict. I'm going to go. There's just too many college games to go through, right? I don't want to really even focus on one conference or another. I'm just looking at 3 really good matchups that I'm looking forward to. If I can't watch them, at least be tuning in a little bit here. Matchups that I find intriguing, really good, usually top 25 matchups or something like that. Let me see here. Where did I have it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's 3 games. There's a few games, kind of honorable mention, if you will. Texas A&M, Alabama. That could be a good game. I'm not sure. There's some hype around that, but a few games that really have piqued my interest for the weekend. First of all, the Red River shootout. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that offensive? Red River, nice, friendly game, whatever they want to call it. No, it's the Red River shootout, for crying out loud. Oklahoma versus Texas. The Sooners 5-0 against the Longhorns 4-1. Now, I appreciate some of the politics of Texas and definitely Oklahoma, two kind of red states there, who kind of have some great policies. But Texas sports teams, I don't know. They always just rub me the wrong way. Like I love the Texas motto, remember the Alamo, all that stuff. Great state of Texas for sure. But see, I got some Oklahoma blood in me, and my dad's side of the family, his mom, his aunts and uncles all came from Fairview, Oklahoma. And so I'm a little biased to the Sooners for that reason. And so I think I got to go with the Oklahoma Sooners here to dethrone the Texas Longhorns, right? Take down the Horns. I know the Clark family, Pete and Paul Clark, will love that. Oklahoma ranks 6th in the country, Texas 21st. Remember, Texas got beat down physically by Arkansas a few weeks back. And one thing that always worries me with Oklahoma is that I think they're just too spread oriented. They're not as physical as they should be. So I'd like to see kind of that defensive physicality come back. And both these schools are going to need it when they go to the SEC in a couple years. You can't just try to score, 70 points a game like the Big 12 football typically is. But 9 a.m. Saturday morning, can't wait for that. Texas State Fair, right? I think it's played at the Cotton Bowl still. I'll be tuning into that, watching that game probably before I head to work in the afternoon. So Oklahoma, Texas, OU's favored by 3.5. I only say the spreads here so that you guys kind of get an idea of who's favored. But I like Oklahoma in this game. It'll be a close one. It's always fun. Throw the records out, but I think it's a good one. Arkansas, Ole Miss. I think that'll be a good game. Two pretty good teams. That's in the morning as well, but I'm not going to get to that one. There was two others that stood out to me that I wanted to comment on. Okay. Penn State and Iowa, two undefeated teams here. Number 4 versus number 3, 5-0, 1:00 game on Fox. This game is huge and it's October. The weather quite hasn't changed that much yet as far as, kind of that chilly Big Ten. I always joke when I see the officials in the Big Ten wearing long sleeves in October, but it's cold over there. It's not here. But there's nothing quite like Big Ten football, on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, when you could see the chill in the air. People are starting to bundle up a little bit. It's just kind of like, okay, all right, fall is here. Christmas season's coming. Like this is good stuff. So anyway, Penn State and Iowa, I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes here at home. Iowa's favored by only 2. Penn State has some great wins on the road at Wisconsin, and then hosting Auburn, right? So 2 really good wins from Penn State. Iowa's just consistent, man. They just kind of, I texted my buddy Pat Hoberg the other day. He's a huge Iowa Hawkeye fan. I said, I was watching NFL games. I said, you know what? I think Iowa has more offensive linemen in the NFL than any other school has a position wise. Like I feel like every NFL team has at least one offensive lineman from Iowa, it seems like. And he was like, yeah, I agree. You could say the same about like Wisconsin. I think there are so many Iowa and Wisconsin offensive linemen in the NFL. I don't know exactly what that means, but it means something. So I got the Hawkeyes here to beat Penn State. And for those that have never seen it before, that end of the first quarter, I think it is the Iowa tradition where all the fans and players wave up to the Children's Hospital that overlooks the stadium. One of the best traditions in sports. The kids wave back and they make signs, and oh, it's really cool. Tug at your heartstrings a little bit. But I got the Hawkeyes beating Penn State on Saturday, a matchup of 2 undefeated top 5 teams. Where else do we go from here? Michigan, Nebraska, maybe traditional names there, not that attractive of a game. I said Alabama versus Texas A&M could be a decent game. Notre Dame, going on the road to Virginia Tech and Blacksburg. They better get their act together after a loss to Cincinnati. And I'll say this, Cincinnati is a real deal. I think I didn't realize they were a top ranked team in the top 10, but they took it to Notre Dame last week. Anyway, the final game I have for you guys, Georgia and Auburn. Georgia undefeated 5-0 against Auburn 4-1. This game is in Alabama at Auburn. Georgia's favored by 2 touchdowns here, which is a little high to me, although Georgia's beat down some of the competition. I think this game is a huge rivalry game outside of Georgia, Florida, and Auburn, Alabama. This is probably the second, biggest game of the year for both of these schools. The border war, I think it is. I think they border each other. Yeah, Georgia, I could be wrong. But anyway, Georgia, Auburn, can't wait for this game. Another afternoon game on CBS. SEC on CBS, man, is awesome. That afternoon game, always at 12:30 start. I always find myself glued to that game for some reason. But anyway, I got Georgia winning this game. I think it's going to be closer than people think with the 2 touchdowns there. I think it's probably a 1 possession football game, but Georgia has looked explosive. They just look great in all 3 phases. So those are my 3 picks for this weekend. I got Iowa over Penn State. I got Georgia over Auburn, and I have Oklahoma over Texas. I know 3 favorites, whatever, but hey, that's just what I'm going with. I need some favorites. I keep predicting these upsets and things, and they never happen. Well, not always, but anyway, those are my college picks. Some intriguing games this weekend. USC Junior College happens to be playing Utah. They'll probably get pushed around there, and then UCLA plays at Arizona, who looks awful. Arizona's 0-4. The Pac-12 looks awful. Oregon lost last week. I mean, maybe the Pac-12 just wants to, call it a season already and move on. But those are some of my predictions in college football. Those three games that I think will absolutely be, if not my predictions don't come true, they'll at least be good football games. So tune into those on Saturday. Okay, now let's get into some NFL talk briefly before we call it a day here. Okay, before we get into some predictions, I do want to say this. There's another thing I thought about that I wanted you guys kind of to chime in on is, the most annoying fan bases in sports. Who do you guys got? I think for most of us, it would be the same teams. Even if you're a fan of these teams, you got to kind of admit, all right, yeah, that's probably true. I wrote down a few, and they're kind of the common ones: the Dallas Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers, the LA Lakers, and the New York Yankees, just to name a few. I think those fan bases are so annoying. They always want to talk about their history, how great they once were. Navy football used to be really good at one time too. You don't see them running around bragging. 49ers have not won a Super Bowl since the mid 90s. Cowboys, I know they won 3 back then. They haven't won a Super Bowl since then. I talked about the Yankees earlier today. I think they're very consistent. They spend money. The Lakers, I know they have some recent relevance, of course. But I just think when those teams are winning, those fan bases become so annoying. I mean, first of all, 49er fans, a few of my friends, you don't see those red hats around all the time, only when your team's winning. I don't understand that. I wore my LA Rams mask to work on Monday after they got their heads kicked in. I wear my gear, win or lose. Hey, where you guys at? I think, Raider fans, look at the Raider fans are a different breed. We'll say they're crazy. They're lunatics. They took over SoFi Stadium the other night against the Chargers. They're a scary looking group. I think it's very scary with the paint everywhere. They got chains and think of the pirates. They have that kind of angry pirate, take no prisoners outlook. So Raider fans, I don't know how annoying they are. They're just very proud. And so they're a proud fan base. And so I give them credit there. Again, they played in LA at one time. So I'm like, okay. And not like one year, like the Chargers did at one point. But anyway, the Chargers, by the way, take it to the Raiders last night, Monday. Oh my goodness. I watched that game at like midnight, stayed up, kept rolling my eyes. Justin Herbert looked great. Not only that though, the Chargers ran the heck out of the football. Austin Eckler, that dude is strong. And he took it to the Raiders. The entire Charger team, the pass rush was great. They stopped the run. I mean, I can't see the Raiders playing that bad again, much like, my Rams did this last weekend. Teams have bad games. Doesn't make them bad teams. So I think the Raiders are going to be in the mix the rest of the year here. But that one was crazy. They laid an egg big time after getting an extra home game basically at SoFi Stadium there, and a weather delay in a dome stadium. What in the world, Roger Goodell? Oh man, it's about safety. This and that. I know the Lightning can't go inside these sidewalls or whatever. I'm like, what? The Lightning was crazy last night. Trust me, I was out working in it, and very scary. But to postpone delay a game because of a lightning delay indoor. That was a new one on me. Unbelievable. Anyway, I guess people way smarter than me are making those decisions. Okay. Just random questions, random requests I have for you guys. Send in who are the most annoying fan bases, and you got to have some credibility. You can't just be like, well, I hate the Rams, so their fans are annoying. Like, give me some substance. Give me why. Yankee fans always walk around with their 27, championships, and Dallas Cowboy fans, they carry around those VHS tapes, man. Of they're not black and white, unfortunately. They're color footage of when the Cowboys used to be good. Recent relevance. I always say that. You can't have 2 playoff game wins in 20 years and be like, yeah, we were the best ever. Anyway, my 2 cents, just my 2 cents. All right, let's get into some predictions from the week for the weekend before we call it a show. After the Rams loss on Sunday, of course, they have a quick turnaround against Seattle. Now, I know they went to Seattle last year in the playoffs and beat the Seahawks. One thing about Seattle and the Rams, always competitive. The Rams match up well with Seattle. I don't know why. Russell Wilson carries a lot of the burden there. He's got some great receivers, DJ Metcalf specifically. The Rams better come ready to play. I don't like that it's a quick turnaround on the road, just like that a few years ago, 2019. Rams lost to the Bucs after going 3-0, and then had to go to Seattle real quick and lost that game on a missed field goal. So I don't feel good about this, just with the quick turnaround. If the Rams did lose, I would feel comfortable kind of with their schedule the next 4 weeks. But if we've learned anything in the NFL, it's that every game matters, and they all add up to it to hurt you at some point. But Rams are favored by 2 here on the road. I think it is a 2, maybe a 1-point game even. I think the Rams squeak it out this time. I almost picked Seattle, want to pick Seattle here. I don't want Seattle to win, obviously, but the Seattle with 2 losses already. If they go to 3 losses, they go to 2-3 and are chasing the undefeated Cardinals, the 1-loss Rams. They could be in real trouble. So a must-win game for Seattle here. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I don't see either team blowing each other out here on Thursday night. So I got the Rams in a very close game. Falcons, Jets. I said after last week, after I saw the Falcons lose another Falcon way, I said I can never take the Falcons again. And then I saw how they're playing the Jets this weekend. I go, oh, why do you do this to me? So I'm going to break my rule. I've had a few days to breathe. I'm going to take the Falcons this Sunday over the New York Jets. Zach Wilson got his first win. Robert Saleh is the head coach, his first win. But I think the Atlanta Falcons will, in fact, win this game. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's a crapshoot. Atlanta never mind. I've spent enough breath on this. Okay. Packers, Bengals. 2-3-1 teams. I got something for you guys here. I got an upset. I got the Bengals, the Ohio bound Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals, I should say, excuse me. Green Bay favored by 3 here on the road. And typically the home team in the NFL gets 3 points. It's usually like, the home team's favored by 3 is kind of the standard, right? That's kind of ground zero. Well, the Packers favored by 3 means they're maybe favored by like 6, right? I like what I've seen so far from the Bengals. I know they played the Jaguars. I know they haven't really played anybody. But again, I think the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, they've rattled off 3 straight wins here. I think it's time for maybe a letdown. And I like what the Bengals are doing, man. I like what Joe Burrow's doing. If this game was in Green Bay, I think I would take the Packers. But I'm going with the Bengals this week in an upset of the Packers in a very close game. Lions, Vikings. Lions are just a disaster. They've had some good moments, but 0-4 is 0-4. The Vikings, I can't believe the Vikings are a 1-3 team. I cannot see them going to 1-4. I like the Vikings in this game to kind of start to turn around their season. Broncos, Steelers. I don't know what to do on this one, guys. I really don't know what to do. I probably am going to go with the Steelers only because with the Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater getting hurt last week, I don't trust Drew Lock as much as I did Teddy. The Broncos have an exceptional defense. I think they're going to get to Big Ben quite a bit over the weekend. They're going to sack Big Ben a few times because he just does not have any escapability anymore. And I think the Steelers will win an ugly game on Sunday, probably something like 14-13 or something like that. So again, those are my thoughts on that game. But again, I want to take Denver. I really do. I think they're a better team. I just am not sure about the whole quarterback situation. The Battle of Florida, Dolphins at Buccaneers. I think Tampa Bay will win this game convincingly. after the emotional win on the road at New England last week. Tampa Bay is favored by 10. I think that number's high and probably good. I think they will win by 2 scores for sure. Saints at Redskins, tough pick here. I don't know what to make of either of these two teams. Flip a coin on this one. I will go with the Saints just because I think they're a better overall team. They lost to the Giants last week, which is so crazy to think about. Washington rallied, but again, it was against Atlanta. So I think the Saints beat the Redskins on Sunday and again, an ugly game, 19-17 or something. Eagles, Panthers. The Eagles can put up some points, man. They really played fast with the Chiefs last week. The Panthers kind of a letdown, getting beat up by Dallas. And the Cowboys there in Jerry's world last week. I think the Panthers rebound here. I think they're a real team. I really do. Defensively, I think they slow the Eagles down a bit, and the Panthers get going offensively. I think the Panthers win by a touchdown over the Eagles on Sunday. Titans, Jags, Jaguars still winless. Urban Meyer's getting a lot of scrutiny, right? Tennessee 2-2. A lot of people said a playoff team, maybe an AFC championship contender. They are not looking good right now. Not looking good at all. I know Mike Vrabel will turn them around, but I don't know what to do. I'm going to go Tennessee. I think Jacksonville stays winless, and maybe those USC rumors with Urban Meyer start to get a little more juicy. I don't know. We'll see. I can't see him being disloyal and leaving in the middle of a season like Bobby Petrino did for the Falcons back in the day. But one thing I've also learned is never say never. So I think the Titans get a win here on the road in Jacksonville, although Jacksonville will put up a fight. Patriots, Texans. Texans are a mess, probably the worst team in the NFL. I think the Patriots win this game on the road after, again, kind of a tough loss at home in the rain to Tom Brady and the Bucs. So Patriots go on the road to Houston and get a W here. Bears, Raiders. I cannot see the Raiders playing poorly again in back-to-back weeks. It's a short week. I know they're playing a decent defense. Khalil Mack returns to play his old team, right? So he'll be fired up. Justin Fields looks like he's going to be the quarterback and moving forward. But I think Derek Carr and the Raider offense responds after an embarrassing loss on Monday to the Chargers. I think the Raiders win this one at home from the friendly confines of the Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium to beat the Bears. Browns, Chargers, great game. Probably the best game on paper of the weekend, although Bills Chiefs is pretty good too. Browns at Chargers here in LA. We saw SoFi Stadium last night and what that meant to Charger fans, the dozens of Charger fans that were in attendance. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's better than Baker Mayfield. Browns have kind of been winning ugly. Chargers with their wins have been impressive. I think the Chargers continue to be one of the best teams in the AFC with a big home win here over the AFC North leading Cleveland Browns, and probably a team that will probably compete for an AFC championship here down the road. This could be a rematch in the playoffs at some point down the road, but I got the Chargers winning a close game. Chargers by 3 over the Browns at SoFi Stadium on Sunday. Giants, Cowboys. I wanted to take the Giants. I just can't do it. I thought the Giants would have a better season than they've been having. They played much better last week, got their first win against the Saints. Daniel Jones came alive a little bit, but I can't go. I can't go with the Giants on the road at the Cowboys, especially the way Dallas played last week against Carolina. I think they continue to roll and rack up some wins. It'll be close, but the Giants will lose to them boys in Arlington on Sunday. 49ers, Cardinals. Jimmy Garoppolo looks to be on the shelf. He might play, he might not against the Cardinals on Sunday. Cardinals coming off a huge win over the Rams on Sunday. Cardinals return home. 49ers already with 2 losses. If they go to 3 losses, they could be in real trouble. I don't know what we're going to get from Trey Lance. And again, nothing seems to be slowing down that Cardinals offense. And in the past few years, the Cardinals match up against well with the 49ers. They've usually beaten them at least one time. And I got the Cardinals continuing to roll. The Cardinals will beat the 49ers 28-20 is my prediction. Maybe the 49ers, I don't know, try to run the ball, control the clock or whatever, but I got the Cardinals continuing their high flying act here and not dominating, but and continuing their winning ways against the 49ers to improve to 5-0. All right. Second best game of the week, Bills at Chiefs. Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes, a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. The Bills have looked really, really good. Chiefs have been inconsistent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Josh Allen is electric, but then again, so is Patrick Mahomes. I'm pretty much taking KC here just because they're at home and they really can't afford a third loss. And I think the Bills, after a huge win last, dominating whoever they played, Houston, it was 40 points. I think they're in for a little bit of a letdown. They're going to get slowed down a little bit by the Chiefs. So I got the Chiefs winning a close one on Sunday night, 27-24 over the Buffalo Bills. And finally, the Indianapolis Colts against the Baltimore Ravens. The Colts returned to the city of Baltimore after escaping in the middle of the night years and years ago. Lamar Jackson leads the Ravens against Carson Wentz and the Colts. I know the Colts got their win last week against Miami, but I don't see how they're going to slow down Lamar Jackson, especially at home on Monday Night Football. The city of Baltimore will be behind their Ravens. They cannot afford a loss to the team that abandoned them years ago in the middle of the night. So I got the Ravens winning on Monday night, and that will wrap up my predictions for this week. Next week, again, we went a little longer today just because I had some other things to say. My voice is getting a little scratchy as we go here, but I want to make the Wednesday shows at least just kind of a quick hitter, try to be around 30, 40 minutes if possible, and then move on and set up our Friday show. And then, of course, our Monday Real Hondo recap show. Okay, that's it for me today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Real Hondo Prep, huge game on Friday night against Campbell Hall, homecoming. Get out to the game if you are free. If not, tune in on Facebook Live, Real Hondo Prep page, not Real Hondo Prep Football, but Real Hondo Prep. And Katrina Gazarian will be our guest on Friday. You don't want to miss that. I think you'll learn something, get inspired, motivated in some walk of life, whatever it is for you guys. But guys, just a quick stop along the way here, along this crazy week of ours. Thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to you joining us on Friday, and can't wait for the game Friday with Real Hondo Prep. And as always, send in those topics, those questions, those voicemails, emails about Real Hondo Prep football over the weekend, so I can sit down with Coach Mark Carson on Sunday and record another great show for you guys. So that's it. That's it for me. Enjoy the games. Go Rams. Go enjoy the baseball playoffs. Enjoy football and we create so many options right now. Hopefully you enjoy them all, but we hope you will always include Get Home Safe podcast as part of your viewing list there. So guys, have a great rest of your week. We're almost there, halfway through it. And we'll see you on Friday with the interview with Katrina, as well as the Real Hondo Prep football game. But guys, as always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or round in third base, get home safe.